Hello there, I'm Media Lord, and welcome to my series talking about Doctor Who, where I plan to cover every episode of the show to talk about a particular subject related to the story, and the story I'm discussing today is Rose. After over 2 decades, Doctor Who was put on hiatus from 1989 to 2005, a period of time known by fans as the Wilderness Years. Books and audio dramas continued the Doctor's adventures off-screen after he and Ace walked off into the sunset, and eventually enough time had passed for fans of the show to climb through the BBC's ranks and advocate for its return. Important lessons were learnt from the TV movie and how it tried to honour what came before at the cost of alienating new viewers. The revival went back to basics, focusing on keeping the most important elements like the TARDIS, the Daleks and the sonic screwdriver, and avoiding relying too heavily on established lore. Their efforts to create the perfect jumping on point caused some confusion as to whether this was an official continuation or a complete reboot because of how the continuity was handled. It's a stark difference to the Disney era, which also reset the season count back to 1, but didn't follow through on the fresh start they promised, with the reintroduction of villains like Sutekh and the Rani without the same level of care that was taken with the Daleks and the Cybermen. That brings me nicely onto today's subject, why the Autons were the perfect Doctor Who villains for Rose. So, if you're ready, let's get started, shall we? Created by Robert Holmes, the Autons are foot soldiers of the Nestine consciousness, a disembodied entity with the ability to control anything made out of plastic. They previously attempted to invade Earth in Spearhead from Space and Terror of the Autons, but they were defeated by the Doctor and UNIT. The most iconic and successful Doctor Who villains tend to be those rooted in the ordinary: gas mask zombies, stone statues, shadows, and those are just some examples from Stephen Moffat's repertoire that have stuck in the minds of fans ever since. They even alter our vocabulary, as I don't call shop window dummies by their true name. I refer to them as Autons, because that's what I've known them as since I was 2. Everyone, no matter how young or old you are, is familiar with shop window dummies. You can't step foot in a shopping centre without seeing them, so they're instantly recognisable and are a simple concept that doesn't require prior knowledge. Thanks for making it this far. You probably guessed this is where I ask you to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video. I've also got a Patreon and Ko-fi page for those of you interested in either making a donation or joining a membership to support the channel for early access, shoutouts, etc. Right, now I've got that call to action done and dusted, let's carry on with the video. Imagine being in a lift and you've got 30 seconds to try and explain the Autons to someone. All you'd need to say is they're shop window dummies that come to life and kill people. Bish bash bosh, easy enough to understand and visualise in your mind, because it's grounded in reality. The Nestine consciousness isn't the god of plastic unleashed on our world along with the rest of the pantheon of Discord, because the Doctor casts salt at the edge of the universe. It's just an alien that can control and weaponise all the plastic in the world, and it wants to invade Earth to replace its food supplies that were lost in the Time War. This motive, you'll have noticed, isn't a direct result of its previous encounters with the Doctor. It's not after revenge. It wants what it's always wanted, Earth's resources, and it exploits our overuse of plastic to achieve that goal. Shop window dummies are such a normal part of our lives that Rose's first thought when they come to life is that they're a bunch of students messing about. Even when they start firing on civilians, it's easy enough for UNIT to cover it up as a terrorist attack rather than an alien invasion, and it's this that made the Autons the perfect Doctor Who villains for Rose. Somehow, over the course of 20 years, Russell T Davies has either forgotten or willfully ignored how perfectly he used to implement classic villains. Being a lifelong fan of Doctor who admittedly has extensive knowledge of the show's history, I can't sit here and claim I know exactly what it was like for new viewers when Sutekh and the Rani were reintroduced. However, It's abundantly clear that the strategy has changed over the years. Instead of meticulously choosing who should return and why, it feels more like Russell is picking his favourite toys out of the box and presuming everyone already knows who they are, and if they don't, they'll look it up online and go back and watch those past episodes. That attitude and approach is nowhere to be found in his original era, where he wasn't given the luxury of being presumptuous and had to put in the work to make it accessible. While the most egregious examples of this issue are from the RTD2 era, both the Stephen Moffat and Chris Chibnall eras struggled with accessibility as well as a natural consequence of Doctor Who running for so long. You can't keep explaining the Daleks, Cybermen and the Master as extensively as they did originally, without it becoming repetitive and boring. But the Autons still don't require that much of an explanation. For as long as shot window dummies exist, the concept remains an elevator pitch. Considering how Robert Holmes got inspired to create the Autons by our over-reliance on plastic despite the harm it was doing, I'd love to see them return now that the world is trying to cut back and reduce the amount of plastic we use. But what do you guys think? Were the Autons the perfect Doctor Who villains for Rose? What other classic foes do you think would have suited the episode? Let me know in the comments below. I've been Media Lord. Until next time, goodbye.